Well, we're in a new war. It's more of a cyber war. And cyber war says, I don't have to come with 15 billion Chinamen across the ocean. I'm just going to attack your network, which I've already got assets in.
How vulnerable are we?
Do you really want to know?
No, no, not really.
Reality is totally going to the dark side.
In this episode, we're going to get into cybersecurity, where we've been, where we are now, and where we're going. Yes, we're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about vulnerability. We're going to talk about where we're compromised. And I don't know. I have the expert, the author of Hacked, Albert E. Whale. Albert, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Maureen. It's my pleasure to be here.
So, okay, Albert, in a brief, the expert, Hacked. Give us a little bit of the background and establish yourself, and where do we go from there?
Great. So once upon a time, we created this thing called the internet, right? I was involved in creating internet access points for phone companies so that they could sell access to their clients. And then this big event happened, 9/11. Probably everybody here, maybe some of you don't know it, but when it happened, that's when I said, I need to do something to make security in our country a priority. And that's when I put a line in the sand and said, I'm working with cybersecurity. So right after 9/11, I got a knock on the door by the FBI in Pittsburgh, and they said, we need your help. We have this internet tool that we don't really know a lot about, but you've been building it out for companies. So will you help us? And I did. And I created the Pittsburgh FBI InfraGuard, and we taught cybersecurity for the national critical infrastructure. And that's really important because people like to have the water on, the power on, they like to drive their cars, and the banking systems are really important, right? And so is healthcare and a few other things going on. And they're all involved in national security or national critical infrastructure. But then I decided that I needed to make a paycheck. Go figure. You can't really go to the store if you're a volunteer for long and expect them to give you food. I mean, this is a great looking face. Don't get me wrong, but I had 6 kids.
It's a good, strong face. Yeah.
So I started working for companies internationally, protecting them from the attackers that I saw growing up from the early stages of the internet. When we first connected, we didn't even need firewalls. Go figure. Everybody was trusted. And then things started happening, and people had to figure out that they needed a firewall to protect their assets. And then certainly soon after that, spam started happening, and they didn't know what was happening, but the firewalls were no longer enough. And that's when I really got going in cybersecurity, teaching companies like the VA, Veterans Administration, like the
Who
Air
did get
Force.
hacked? They
Huh?
got Social Security got hacked. I don't know who anyone that didn't get hacked.
So here's the problem. These little things here, you probably got one, right? Maybe you have 2. I'm not going to ask you what your number is. Where are they made, though?
China.
Ah, very good. You got it first try. You get 10 extra points.
Yeah.
I don't know what you can do with those points, but we'll figure it out later.
Okay.
Anyway, so we have this appetite for buying technology cheap. But here's the problem. When you go to war with somebody, you usually have to take all of your armament and assets over to that country to play the bully, right? That's what war's about.
Mm.
Well, we're in a new war, and it's more of a cyber war. And cyber war says, I don't have to come with 15 billion Chinamen across the ocean. I'm just going to attack your network, which I've already got assets in. Because they've been building our technology for so long, we're sticking them in our businesses, in our homes, everywhere. And they get backdoor access right into our environment.
So hold on that note, because now we're going to jump to to current day. You had TikTok on Congress. We talked about Social Security getting hacked, everyone getting hacked, ransom is new. There was even a Russian hacker that was coming out talking about how they're hacking everything that has to do with the Ukraine to be able to cripple the Ukrainians' efforts and go right to the source. So when it comes to our government, when it comes to being, and then we're going to get into AI because that's the future. But right now, that when it comes to Congress, when it comes to those that are leading our country, they don't have a clue. And am I wrong in being judgmental?
Well, we hear every week that this agency or that agency has gotten a breach, okay? And the people that hold the credentials for people with government clearances getting breached is really a bad day because all of those secret assets are now out in the wind. And you don't really want to have your intelligence officials or people like me that had a clearance being known by the enemy. Because
you're our secret sauce.
Yeah, they become the targets, right? So I agree that, more needed to be done. They're trying to think of compliance methodologies. And my hard push with everyone is compliance doesn't mean security. It's just the recipe that the attackers know that you use to protect yourself. So if you go outside of the recipe, or if you do less than the recipe, you're already there.
So people sitting at home, so basically our security, our systems that keep the planes flying, that keeps our water running and everything else is all done by internet, by computers and security. First question, how vulnerable are we?
Do you really want to know?
No, not really. Can you give me like the Looney Tunes cartoon version?
Oh, okay. Everything is sugar plums and fairies. Don't worry.
And the reality?
Reality is totally going to the dark side. You remember the Terminator series?
Mm-hmm.
I think they said AI was involved in that. They had Skynet going. We actually have Skynet now. And I don't know if it's AI based or not, but these weapons of mass destruction are out in space. We used to have ICBMs and we still have them. Okay. And those systems are really well protected because they're not digital. Anything that's digital can be easily broken. And I say that because we're really not paying attention to the activities that are going on inside the network. And that's why I wrote the first book. First book. Hashtag hacked. It's reversed on me. I mean, it's right here. Okay. Hashtag hacked is the award-winning book, which started it all. Hashtag hacked 2 is an international bestseller with 12 additional cybersecurity professionals. A lot of them, one of them is called Dr. Zero Trust. There are other CEOs of cybersecurity companies that, work with me. Some of them work in government. Some of them, one of them is a salesperson, and she's great. She's awesome. She supports all of us that are on the team that wrote hashtag hack 2. And there are 2 more books coming out. But, what we need to understand is that we're very vulnerable and we need to change what we're doing to protect our country. And it's not about, let's collect all this log file information, because the log files just basically say, oh, this event occurred, you're hacked, hashtag hacked,
right?
And we didn't prevent it. So looking at log files is really bad because not everybody understands that if an event happens and you're not really configured to understand what the log means, then that's a bad day, because it's going to take about 6 to 18 months to figure out that this event that they didn't understand means that they were breached. And a lot of what's going on right now is The attackers take known attacks and they change it. So it becomes an unknown attack, which becomes invisible to our protection systems. So they're inside already.
And they're just sitting there collecting data.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
And everyone that thinks that, these guys are taking the data for ransom and expecting money, they do expect the money. But even if you get something back, they still have a copy of it.
Right.
That they're selling on the dark web.
Okay. So let's do 3 things people at home can do to better protect themselves.
Sure. And I give bonus information on my website, thehackedbook.com. But let's give a couple.
Have links. And we're going to have links, and then Perfect. Let's have some gift or something to give them.
Yeah, they get 3 bonus links.
Yeah, I love
bonus tips for business and personal use. So there's one for personal and there's one for business. And, I think there's like 10 extras over and above what's in the book.
So it'll set people up to be safer.
Safer, yes.
Okay. So 3 things that people can do. The first, yeah.
Don't use the same password on all of your accounts, because a lot of accounts get compromised. And if you have the same password, say in Facebook, and they're going to use your Instagram or your banking password or some other social media, bankings are really hard. I mean, you don't want to have somebody getting into your financial system and draining your account, or do you?
No.
Okay. So use different passwords and try to change them periodically. If it's 60 to 90 days, that's really good. If it's been 5 years, that's too long. Okay.
So have different passwords, change them quarterly would be fabulous.
Fabulous. And you can write them down now, because we're still not working in the office. So if you write them on a notebook in your home, who's coming in?
Yeah.
You can't hack paper.
Number 2, what else can people do?
Well, writing passwords down is one thing so that you can keep them separated. Not using public Wi-Fi.
Okay. I knew that one. Okay. So explain to the audience what that looks like, basically.
So basically, when you go to Panera or Target or Walmart or Nordstrom, they offer a free Wi-Fi service. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's customer service. They want to keep you there.
Sure, they want to keep you there, but really they're tracking you, because they want to see where you are in the store and how long do you spend there, so that their marketing efforts can be even better.
That's horrible.
That's the super secret sauce. Yeah, it's horrible. But see, when you accept to use something that's free, you are the product.
Yeah.
That's like Facebook, Gmail, Google. They're using you as the product, and they're selling your secrets to whoever will pay for them.
That's number 2. Number 3.
Number 3. I want to make this one really count for you. That's why it's taken me a minute, because there's so many good ones out there. Yeah, I kind of combined what I was going to say, which is, if you're not paying for a service, you are the product.
Yeah.
So if you're using Gmail, don't, because you're not paying for that, right? And the problem there is that the hackers pay for service and access, and they're awarded it. Because if you give somebody money, of course you're going to give them access, right?
Yeah. So, okay. So at this time, what, as a people, and then I want to get into AI, because now it's so as some proactive steps
Yes.
that you would say that the government would take to shore up our security? What would that look like?
Well, there are some good programs out there. One of them is called CMMC, and that's the Cyber Maturity Model Certification Program that they're making all of the government contractors go through.
Okay.
But federal agencies are exempt. Yeah, that's the problem I have too. So talk to your government officials, senators, representatives, anybody. If you're not getting certified in security in this day and age with cyber war going on around us, my question is why? Why not? I mean, it costs billions a year to recuperate what's lost. It might cost tens of thousands to get certified and fix problems that you didn't know you had because you're not looking at them. But if the people say this is important to us, then we can make it happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, and I'm also thinking as far as the marketing that if this knowledge was actually more prevalent, that actually couldn't we make up buying decisions by knowing who our information is secure with versus not?
Absolutely. So when you see that somebody is compromised, like the banking systems that are falling apart on us, move to another bank. Your local and regional banks, the smaller ones, have a less of a footprint on the internet, and they're probably a little more secure. Maybe they don't have all of the apps on their phone for you to access, but if you're talking to another person, are they hacking you?
No.
Probably not. And you can't hack paper is one resounding issue that a lot of people don't really want to hear. But if we're moving to a digital currency, that just scares the bejesus out of me.
Well, we can get into bricks and the digital security and where we're going with that. But I want to that's another conversation because we can do book two. So, but all
Perfect.
right, the biggest thing that everyone's talking, and that's just where we are now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to use the acronym AI, Chat GBT 4. I mean, talk about the difference I've seen in my industry, which I'm not really happy about. I actually write my stuff, and you know, that where where are we going? Where do you see it going? And then the question I have is that could we be having a Star Trek moment where everything is solved and beautiful? I'm a half full girl, glass full, and or the potential on the other side that yeah, this is not going to be good.
So, when my glass is like this, I say it's refillable. Fill me up, okay? And then I'll drink it down and then fill me up again. I'll drink all day. That's not the issue. The problem is when we're relying on technology to do our work, where does the quality come from?
Yeah.
Because right now we're seeing that technology is broken and allowing access to people we don't want inside of our networks, right? And they're there anyway.
And then on that piece, giving companies, giving the for profit even more power to regulate themselves when it comes to AI. I'm like thinking that maybe that's not a good idea.
Yeah, I kind of get that. I mean, when artificial intelligence, which is not really intelligence because it was only built by people that put the tools together, and we don't know who did that and why they're doing that or what their purpose is, but it's not something I can rely on by saying, oh, this guy wrote two books on cybersecurity. Looks like pretty good stuff, but I wrote it from what I know and what I understand, not what some computer program told me I should be thinking about, which could be missing all of the information that's important or swaying me down another pathway, which I didn't want to go in. Here's the problem. When we rely on technology for our thinking, like our kids today aren't really learning in school. They don't know the ABCs, the arithmetic, the history. I heard today on the news, kids aren't really learning history anymore. So we're going to be doomed to repeating it. And let's just say that there's been a couple civilizations before us that have all come falling apart. But if we're relying on a machine service like Google to tell us answers to questions that we have instead of thinking or researching or actually working with other human beings, we're not connected anymore.
Yeah. And then there's the whole social component. Humans are social beings. At the end of the day, you take connection, you then you bestow isolation, loneliness, and absolute.
Well, we're seeing a lot of that in depression and, suicidal moments. I mean, I have 6 kids, and that's why I started working in cybersecurity. But when we're in a room and they're texting on their phones and you're sitting right across from them and they're not talking, that's a bad day.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we get to do this again because I want to go into 2. But okay, free gift. And how can people get in touch with you? And what does that look like?
So it's real easy. Go to The Hacked Book, HACKED, BOOK.com. My email is albert@thehackedbook.com.
And when they go there, tell us again about the list that you have.
Yeah, there's on the website, there'll be bonus gifts or a bonus page. Just click on the link and it'll ask for your email address, and then you have access to the bonus gifts right there.
And good. And then they get to say, hey, I want more, Albert. So
Right.
you just communicate with them. How fabulous.
Absolutely.
Okay.
How fabulous.
What are you working on now? And what's coming?
Oh, well, I have a new product that's called It's Safe. It's Safe sits inside the network to make sure that all the connections that you have going in and out of your business or your home are correct. Look, I put it in my house and I bought a TV. Well, the TV has a crypto coin miner on it, for goodness sake. I didn't ask for that. And that means there's a back door for hackers inside my house. And this is one of the reasons why I built It's Safe, because most people can't see what's going on inside their network or their phone. So if you connect it to your phone to my device, it will block all the bad things and also tell you if it's clean or not. Because how many firewalls or virus scanners are there on the phone?
But I have a question though here. And this is is that when it comes to the piece of being safe, is it also functional?
Oh yeah, you don't have to interact with it at all because it finds the bad activity and it blocks it.
And only that.
Right.
Okay.
Only that. I mean, I had at one time 5 adults in my house, all in their own bedrooms because Lord knows you can't share a TV. At least that's what we did when I was growing up. Anyway, they're all streaming social media, Netflix, Amazon, whatever.
Wait. Maybe YouTube.
Oh, YouTube. Yeah, sure. YouTube. Absolutely. And they all come through very well. But, the bad connections to countries that I don't really want to do business with, or I live in Pennsylvania. Okay. How many foreign countries do I need to associate with? When I have 48 countries in my network, that's a problem, especially when I see network Trojans, which are not discovered by these tools that people are buying. Hey, they always come up to me. Hey, is Norton antivirus any good? Hey, is McAfee any good? Hey, is Malwarebytes any good? And I look at them and I say,
no.
Well, are you running it on everything that's going through your device 24 hours a day? And if you did, how are you using that device? And here's the problem. Remember, I talked about known threats and unknown threats. So if the attackers know the tools are looking for known threats and they know how to make something an unknown threat, how would you get into somebody's system?
Right underneath the watching eyes.
Underneath the watching eyes. Yes.
Mhm.
It's quite easy to bypass these tools because they're only looking for tomorrow's threat. But with it safe, we looked at what succeeded yesterday, last week, last month, last year. And what are they doing? And we block it.
Is this for regular people? Is this for corporate? Where is that?
Right now, it's for corporate businesses, but
Okay.
if you want the product, yes, we can get a system set up for you. We're still working on scaling it down, so it's right now about a box about this big,
Okay.
which isn't that bad. I mean, your cable modem's about that big, right?
Right, right. Okay, so we're gonna have the link for that too.
Oh, absolutely.
And especially if you're running your own corporation and that you want to protect your information and not get hacked or then get ransomed, it's perfect for that.
Well, the problem is if you have a data breach, it's going to cost you about $5 million on an average. And Merrick just got charged 1.4 billion. That's B with a B, 1.4 billion for a data breach. So, you can do things the way you've continued to do it, but expecting different results aren't going to happen for you.
Okay, I love it. So it's safe. Check it out. Go get your free gift, thehackedbook.com. But we got the links and go say hello to Albert. Albert, it was amazing having you on.
Oh, thank you,
Last
Maureen.
words.
Famous last words. I'll be back.
I missed that. What?
I said, I'll be back.
Ah, and there we go. All right, everyone. Until next time. Again, the book is Hacked and Hacked 2, Albert E. Whale. Link it up. Get yourself safe today.